Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, why do I feel older than I look? Maybe you've been waking up more tired than usual, forgetting things more often, or feeling like your body just isn't bouncing back the way it used to. Even simple things like climbing stairs, remembering names, or staying focused on a book start to feel harder. And you wonder, is this just aging? Or is something else going on? You're not alone in feeling that way. Many people in their 60s and beyond begin to notice these changes creeping in slowly and quietly. It can be confusing, even scary, because no one really tells us what's normal and what's not. But the truth is, just because something is common doesn't mean it's healthy. And feeling this way doesn't mean your best years are behind you. In fact, life after 60 can still be full of energy, clarity, and purpose if you know how to take care of your body the right way. It's not about big overhauls or complicated routines. Sometimes it only takes a few simple changes to protect yourself from fast aging and stay strong for years to come. That's what this video is all about. Today we're going to look at 7 surprising signs that your body may be aging faster than it should, and more importantly, what you can do about it. These aren't just theories. Each one is backed by science and easy to understand, even easier to apply. If you stay with me until the end, you'll walk away with a clear, practical roadmap to spot the danger signs early, and more importantly, reverse the damage before it's too late. You'll know exactly what to change and how to do it without stress or confusion. And make sure you don't miss the final sign, because it's the most overlooked, yet often the most dangerous of all. So if you're ready to protect your body, sharpen your mind, and live the next 20 years with more strength than the last, let's dive into the first sign. Sign number 1, you wake up feeling tired. Even after a full night's sleep, you open your eyes and the world is already waiting. But your body, it's still heavy, still stiff, still not ready. You glance at the clock, 7 hours, maybe even 8. You were in bed the whole time, so why do you feel like you haven't rested at all? This kind of morning tiredness isn't just sleepiness, it's exhaustion. A fog that clings to your shoulders even after the pillow's behind you. And maybe you've gotten used to it, telling yourself it's just age, that it's normal. But deep down, part of you wonders, why does this keep happening? The truth is, waking up tired is not just one problem. It's usually a combination of several. And the sooner you understand them, the sooner you can take back control. Sometimes it starts with the obvious. You're not getting enough sleep. Maybe you stay up late watching TV, or you struggle to quiet your thoughts at night. You end up sleeping only 5 or 6 hours, then drag yourself through the next day. But your body isn't built to recover on short bursts of rest. Sleep is when your brain files away memories, your muscles rebuild, and your immune system recharges. Without enough time in bed, that repair work simply doesn't get done. Other times you sleep long enough, but the sleep itself isn't deep. As we age, our ability to enter deep, restorative sleep declines. You may lie in bed all night, but your brain never drops into the healing stages that truly refresh the body. It's like floating in a bathtub without ever getting wet. You're surrounded by rest, but not absorbing any of it. There's also broken sleep. Maybe you wake up once, twice, 3 times a night. Sometimes it's your bladder. Sometimes your joints ache. Sometimes your mind won't stop spinning. Each time you wake, your sleep cycle resets and your body needs up to an hour to sink back into the deeper stages. That's time lost night after night, even if you don't remember it clearly. But one of the most overlooked reasons for morning fatigue lies deep inside your cells. It's not just about sleep hours or disruptions, it's about energy. Inside each of your cells are tiny engines called mitochondria, which convert oxygen and nutrients into usable energy. They're the reason your heart beats, your brain thinks, your muscles move. But as we age, mitochondria become less efficient. They generate less power and more waste. So even if you spend 8 hours in bed, your cells may still be running on fumes when the sun comes up. And this isn't just theory. According to a study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine, more than 40% of older adults report excessive daytime sleepiness, even after adequate sleep duration. Another 2020 review from Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that aging is associated with both reduced deep sleep and mitochondrial dysfunction, both of which contribute to persistent fatigue. In other words, it's not just in your head. It's in your cells, your hormones, your nervous system, working quietly in the background. So what can you do? Start with how you prepare for sleep. 1 hour before bed, dim the lights in your home. Bright light, especially from phones and TVs, tells your brain to stay awake. Instead, ease your way into night with silence, soft music, or a warm shower. Stretch lightly, breathe slowly. Let your body know it's time to shut down. If you wake up during the night, don't panic. Keep the room dark. Avoid checking your phone or the clock. It will only wake your brain further. Just breathe. Let yourself float gently back down. When morning comes, don't hide from the light. Open the curtains. Step outside if you can. That burst of natural light resets your internal clock, lifts your mood, and helps regulate hormones that control sleep, energy, and even appetite. Caffeine is a tricky friend. A morning cup is fine, but by mid-afternoon it can linger in your system longer than you think, interfering with deep sleep hours later. If you need a warm drink, try herbal tea after 2 p.m. Let your body unwind without being tricked into wakefulness. And most importantly, nourish your energy at the root. Mitochondria thrive on magnesium, B vitamins, and movement. Eat greens, nuts, and whole foods. Move your body gently each day. A walk, a stretch, a bit of sun. You're not just surviving the day, you're helping your cells come alive. Because waking up tired isn't just part of getting older. It's a message from your body that something is off. And the beautiful thing is you can answer that message gently and consistently until rest becomes real again. And if your mornings already feel like a struggle, just wait until you see what your muscles are silently losing while you sit still. Sign number 2, you've lost muscle without noticing. You look in the mirror and everything seems fine. Maybe a bit softer around the edges. Maybe your arms aren't quite as firm as they used to be, but nothing alarming. You chalk it up to aging, maybe to a few skipped workouts. But then one day you try lifting something that used to be easy, or you struggle to get out of a chair without pushing with your hands, or you notice the stairs wind you faster than they did just a few years ago. It's not that you've become lazy, it's that your body is slowly losing its strength, and chances are it's been happening without you even realizing it. After the age of 30, the average person loses 3 to 8% of their muscle mass per decade. But here's the scary part. After 60, that loss speeds up dramatically, especially if you're not actively fighting against it. This condition is called sarcopenia, and it's one of the most silent, dangerous signs of fast aging, because it doesn't just affect how you look, it affects how you live. Muscle is what lets you move, bend, carry balance. It's your internal armor. Without it, daily tasks become harder. Your metabolism slows, your bones get weaker, and your risk of falling skyrockets. So why does it happen? One reason is lack of use. Muscles are like friendships. If you don't engage with them regularly, they fade. If your daily routine no longer includes lifting, squatting, stretching, or even walking briskly, your muscles start breaking down faster than your body can rebuild them. But there's more going on inside. As you age, your body becomes less responsive to signals that tell it to build muscle, even if you exercise. This is called anabolic resistance. It's like trying to grow a garden in soil that's dry and depleted. It takes more effort, more care, and more consistency just to get the same result. At the same time, your hormones shift. Testosterone and growth hormone decline. Inflammation rises, and your ability to absorb protein from food drops. So even if you're eating the same way you did in your 40s, your body might not be using those nutrients effectively anymore. And here's the science behind it. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults need 50% more protein after a meal to trigger the same muscle-building response as younger adults. Another study in Age and Aging showed that sarcopenia increases the risk of falls, hospitalization, and even mortality. But it often goes unnoticed because people don't feel the change until they're already weaker. So what can you do to stop this silent shrinking? First, start small, but start moving. You don't need to lift heavy weights or join a gym. Body weight exercises like squats by the bed, standing leg lifts, or even using water bottles as hand weights can work wonders if done consistently. Aim for movements that involve your legs and core. Those are the muscles that keep you stable and upright. Next, pay attention to your protein intake. You need more than you think, at least 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight each day spread across meals. Don't just eat all your protein at dinner. Include a bit with breakfast and lunch too. Think eggs, yogurt, lentils, chicken or fish, whatever you enjoy and can digest easily. Also, don't skip resistance. Even light resistance like elastic bands or slow controlled movements tells your muscles, I still need you. And when your body hears that, it starts to respond, rebuild, and protect. And finally, trust the process. Strength doesn't return overnight, but it will return. And the feeling of standing up from a chair, with ease, walking confidently across the room, or lifting your grandchild without fear. That's worth every small effort. Because losing muscle isn't just about strength, it's about freedom, and you deserve to keep yours. And if your muscles have quietly been fading, your gut might be sending you signals too, just in a way most people don't recognize. Sign number 3, your digestion is slower or uncomfortable. You finish a meal, nothing too heavy, nothing too greasy, but within an hour your stomach feels tight. You're bloated, gassy, or just off. Maybe it feels like food's sitting there not moving, or you find yourself running to the bathroom, or worse, not going at all for days. You might blame the food or think, maybe I just ate too fast. But when it happens again and again, even with safe meals, it's time to look deeper. Slower or uncomfortable digestion isn't just about what you eat. It's often a sign that your digestive system is aging faster than the rest of you. As we age, the entire digestive process begins to slow down. The stomach produces less acid, which makes it harder to break down food properly, especially proteins. The pancreas releases fewer digestive enzymes. The muscles of your gut, yes, your intestines have muscles too, lose tone and contract more slowly. That means food moves through the system sluggishly, creating gas, discomfort, and constipation. And then there's your gut microbiome, the vast ecosystem of bacteria living in your intestines. These microbes help you digest food, produce vitamins, and keep inflammation in check. But over time, with medications, poor diet, and lack of fiber, this balance can shift. Harmful bacteria grow, the helpful ones shrink, and your gut becomes less efficient and more irritable. Think of your gut like a kitchen. When you're young, everything runs like clockwork. The stove heats fast, the sink drains quickly, the fridge keeps things fresh. But as time passes, the burners get slower, the pipes clog more easily, and food starts going bad faster. The whole system needs more attention to function well. And here's what the science says. A study published in Gastroenterology Clinics of North America confirms that aging leads to delayed gastric emptying, reduced enzyme output, and changes in gut bacteria, all of which increase the risk of indigestion, constipation, and nutrient deficiencies. Another 2022 paper in Nature Reviews Gastroenterology found that gut microbiome diversity drops significantly after age 60, correlating with poor immune health and higher inflammation levels. So if your digestion feels off, it's not your imagination, it's your body asking for help. So what can you do? Start by slowing down your meals. Chewing thoroughly not only breaks food down better, but also sends signals to your stomach to release the right acids and enzymes. It's the first and most overlooked step in proper digestion. Next, think about what your gut bacteria are eating, because yes, they eat too. Feed them with high-fiber, plant-based foods like leafy greens, oats, apples, and fermented foods such as yogurt, kefir, kimchi, or sauerkraut. These help repopulate the good bacteria and crowd out the troublemakers. Stay hydrated not just with water, but warm liquids like broth or herbal teas that soothe the digestive tract and keep things moving. If constipation is a frequent issue, gentle movement can help far more than you might think. A short walk after meals acts like a gentle push on your internal system, telling your gut, let's move this along. And finally, be aware of how stress affects your digestion. The gut and brain are deeply connected. Anxiety, worry, and unprocessed emotion can tighten the digestive muscles, delay emptying, and throw off your balance. Breathing deeply before meals, eating in calm environments, and giving yourself permission to rest, all of these matter more than most people realize. Because digestion isn't just about food, it's about how your body processes life. And when your gut is calm, clear, and regular, everything else works better. And if your gut's been feeling backed up or bloated, your skin might be sending signs too more visible, but often misunderstood. Sign number 4, Your skin is thinning or bruising easily. You brush against the edge of a table and the next day, there's a purple bruise blooming on your arm. You don't remember hitting anything. Or maybe you notice your skin tearing more easily like paper. The back of your hands looks more fragile, the veins more visible, and small cuts take longer to heal than they used to. You might shrug it off and say, that's just aging. But that kind of changed skin that bruises easily, thins out, or struggles to recover isn't just surface level. It's a visible signal that your body may be aging too fast, especially at the structural level. You see, your skin isn't just a cover, it's a complex organ. And its strength, elasticity, and ability to heal depend on one critical protein, collagen. Collagen is what gives your skin its firmness. Think of it like the mattress under your sheets when it's thick and springy. Everything above looks smooth and supported. But when it wears down, the surface sags, wrinkles form, and the whole thing becomes more prone to damage. The same goes for your skin. As we age, collagen production naturally decreases, but the process speeds up with oxidative stress, inflammation, poor nutrition, and sun damage. Your skin becomes thinner, not just because it's older, but because it's not rebuilding like it used to. Worse still, your blood vessels also become more fragile. That's why even light pressure can cause them to break, leading to unexpected bruises, especially on the arms and legs. And here's what science shows. A study in dermatoendocrinology found that collagen levels decline by about 1% each year after age 20, and this decline accelerates without nutritional support or protection. Another study in the Journal of Investigative Dermatology linked low collagen density with slower wound healing and increased vulnerability to skin tears in older adults. So if your skin has started feeling more delicate or you're bruising more easily than before, it's not just about appearances. It's your body waving a little red flag. Now, what can you do? First, focus on building collagen from within. That means eating foods rich in vitamin C, like citrus, berries, and bell peppers, because vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis. You can also include bone broth or collagen peptides, which contain the building blocks your body needs to repair skin structure. Second, protect what you already have. Use sunscreen even indoors, especially on your hands and face where damage accumulates most. And limit alcohol and smoking if they're part of your life. These habits accelerate collagen breakdown faster than nearly anything else. Third, support skin healing by improving circulation. A 15-minute walk, light massage, or even gently stretching your hands and fingers can help bring nutrients to the skin and flush away waste, speeding up repair from the inside out. And finally, be kind to your skin. Moisturize regularly. Avoid harsh soaps. Wear gloves when gardening or doing chores. These simple acts of care may seem small, but over time they reinforce your skin's resilience. Because when your skin starts thinning, it's not just a cosmetic issue, it's a message from your body that deeper systems may need support. And if your skin's been sending you these warnings, your brain might be next, and the signals aren't always easy to spot. Sign number 5, you're more forgetful than before. You walk into a room and forget why you came in. You can picture someone's face clearly, but their name won't come. You misplace your glasses, your keys, or a word that's just on the tip of your tongue. At first, it feels like normal forgetfulness. You laugh it off, but deep down, something unsettles you. Why is this happening more often? The truth is, occasional forgetfulness is common, but when it starts to feel frequent, when you feel slower to think, to speak, to react, it might be more than just aging. It might be a sign your brain is aging faster than it should. The brain, like any other part of the body, needs constant maintenance, and memory is one of the first things to falter when that maintenance starts slipping. So what's going on? As we age, the brain naturally loses volume, especially in the hippocampus, the area responsible for memory and learning. But when aging speeds up due to stress, inflammation, poor sleep, lack of stimulation, or poor circulation, this shrinkage can happen faster than expected. Your brain also relies on blood flow to deliver oxygen and nutrients. But if your arteries are stiff, your blood pressure irregular, or your movement limited, your brain simply isn't being fed well. Imagine a library where the lights are dimming. The books are still there, but harder to find and slower to reach. And let's not forget the impact of chronic stress and poor sleep. Elevated cortisol levels, especially when prolonged, can literally shrink the brain's memory centers, Combine that with poor quality sleep where memories aren't properly sorted and stored, and you get mornings where yesterday feels fuzzy and names feel just out of reach. Now here's what the science says. A long-term study published in Neurology found that people who sleep less than 6 hours a night consistently in midlife had significantly higher risk of cognitive decline later on. Another study in The Lancet identified physical inactivity, loneliness, and low mental stimulation as major contributors to accelerated brain aging and memory loss. But the good news is your brain is highly adaptable. It wants to grow, it wants to connect, and with the right habits it still can. So where do you begin? Start by giving your brain something new to chew on each day. It doesn't have to be complicated. Learn a few words in a new language, do a crossword, watch a documentary. Even something as simple as brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand can nudge the brain into building new connections. Next, move your body because movement fuels the mind. Walking, stretching, even dancing increases blood flow to the brain. More blood means more oxygen, more nutrients, and more clarity. Don't underestimate the power of connection either. Talking to others, sharing stories, recalling memories, all of it lights up the brain. And the more you use those circuits, the stronger they stay. Finally, give your brain space to rest. That means deep, consistent sleep, the kind where the brain organizes what you learn, clears out waste, and resets. If your nights are fractured, your memory will be too. Because memory loss isn't always inevitable. It's often a sign that your brain is starving for the things it needs: movement, rest, curiosity, and care. And if your thoughts have started slipping, your spine might be doing the same, only this time it shows up in your posture. Sign number 6, you've shrunk in height or have back pain. You catch a glimpse of yourself in a mirror, and something's off. Your shoulders are rounding forward. You don't stand quite as tall as you used to. Maybe a favorite jacket fits differently. Or someone you haven't seen in a while says, "Did you get shorter?" And you laugh because, yes, it's common. But deep down you wonder, why does my back hurt more? Why do I feel smaller, stiffer, and more fragile than I used to? This slow shrinking, this quiet aching, it's not just the years piling on. It's your spine, your bones, and your posture sending you a message. A message that your skeletal system is aging faster than it should. As we grow older, it's normal to lose a little height, about half an inch every decade after age 40. But when that loss speeds up, or when it's accompanied by back pain, stiffness, or a feeling of compression, the likely culprit is bone loss, and more specifically, spinal disc compression and vertebral weakening. Here's what happens. Between each vertebra in your spine is a disc, a little cushion of fluid and fiber that absorbs shock and keeps you flexible. But with time and poor posture, these discs start to dry out and flatten. You lose that spring between your bones. Think of a stack of books where the padding between pages has thinned. Everything settles lower, tighter and more rigid. At the same time, your bones may be weakening silently through a process called osteopenia, or its more severe form, osteoporosis. This makes your spine more likely to curve, compress, or fracture, even from simple movements like bending or lifting. And here's what the research says. A study in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research found that after age 60, nearly 1 in 2 women and 1 in 4 men will experience a fracture due to bone loss, often without knowing they even had weak bones. Another study in Spine Journal revealed that loss of disc height and spinal curvature are directly linked to both reduced mobility and decreased lifespan in older adults. But there's hope, because your bones, just like your muscles and brain, respond to attention. So what can you do? First, nourish your bones daily, not just with calcium, but with the right combination of nutrients. Calcium is only useful when paired with vitamin D, which helps absorption, and vitamin K2, which directs calcium into your bones instead of your arteries. Include foods like leafy greens, eggs, cheese, sardines, and mushrooms. And don't forget, sunshine, a short walk outside, can do more for your bones than any supplement alone. Next, move in ways that stimulate bone and spine strength. Walking, light resistance training, and posture-based exercises like yoga or Tai Chi help maintain both bone density and spinal alignment. You're not just building strength, you're teaching your spine to stand tall again. Be mindful of your posture throughout the day. If you often hunch over phones, screens, or even the books, your back starts to mold into that shape. Imagine a young tree growing bent toward the ground. Eventually that becomes its natural form. But with consistent awareness, lifting your chest, pulling your shoulders back, lengthening your spine, you can begin to reshape the way you move through the world. And finally, listen to your back. Pain is not weakness, it's a signal, a call for care, movement, and better support. Don't wait until you can't get out of bed without wincing to take action. Start now, gently, consistently, and your spine will thank you for years to come. Because losing height isn't just about stature, it's about confidence, independence, and freedom of movement. And if your spine has quietly begun to fold inward, your heart may be doing the same emotionally. The next sign affects something even deeper, your connection to life itself. Sign number 7, you've lost interest in social activities or hobbies. There was a time when you looked forward to weekend gatherings, morning walks with a friend, a little gardening, or even your favorite crossword puzzle. But lately it feels different. The thought of going out exhausts you. The idea of starting a new book doesn't excite you. You tell yourself you're just, or that you've outgrown these things. But quietly you wonder, why don't I care anymore? Losing interest in the things that once brought you joy isn't just a mood, it's a sign that something deeper might be shifting inside you. And if left unaddressed, it can slowly dim the light that makes life worth living. This kind of withdrawal is often mistaken for personality change or just aging, but in truth, it can be a symptom of emotional and neurological slowdown, where the brain's reward and motivation systems are no longer firing the way they used to. Part of this has to do with dopamine, the brain's desire chemical. Dopamine is what makes us look forward to experiences, seek connection, and pursue goals. But with age, dopamine levels naturally decline. Combine that with loneliness, limited movement, and chronic stress, and the system begins to quiet. You start doing less, and the less you do, the less you want to do. At the same time, mild depression can creep in, not as deep sadness, but as emotional flatness, a loss of color, of spark. You might still smile, still function, but inside things feel muted. And here's what science tells us. A study in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry found that lack of interest in activities called anhedonia is one of the earliest predictors of cognitive and emotional decline in seniors. Another study from the Journals of Gerontology showed that older adults who remained socially active and engaged in hobbies had significantly lower risk of depression, memory loss, and physical disability. In short, losing interest isn't a small thing. It matters, but it can also be turned around. So what can you do? Start by reconnecting with small moments of joy. You don't need to force big plans. Start with 5 minutes, a song you used to love, a photo album, sitting by a window and watching the world move. These tiny sparks remind the brain, I'm still here. I still care. Then create gentle social contact. Call a friend, invite someone over for tea, join a local class or a community group, not because you feel like it now, but because your future self might thank you later. Often motivation follows action, not the other way around. Return to hobbies that once grounded you, even if just in small doses. Gardening, drawing, music, puzzles, crafting. These aren't just pastimes, they are brain therapy, emotional nourishment, and anchors to your identity. And finally, if you've been feeling emotionally flat for weeks or months, talk to your doctor. There's no shame in asking for help. The earlier emotional and chemical imbalances are addressed, the easier they are to reverse. Because losing interest doesn't mean you've lost yourself. It just means part of you is asking to be reawakened. And when you listen to that call, when you move, connect, create, and care again, your energy returns, your light returns, and life begins to feel full again. Because aging well isn't just about your body, it's about your spirit. And that spirit is always waiting to be reignited. Aging doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in through forgotten names, tighter joints, restless nights, and the quiet fading of interest you used to love. But just because these signs come silently doesn't mean you have to stay silent. Each of these 7 signs is your body trying to tell you something. And here's the powerful truth. Once you start listening, you can begin changing one day, one habit, one small choice at a time. So which sign spoke to you the most? Which one felt personal, familiar, maybe even a little uncomfortable? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone, and your words might just help someone else feel less alone on this journey. If this video gave you insight, encouragement, or even just a nudge to take better care of yourself, please hit that like button. It helps the message reach more people. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more wisdom like this, grounded in science and spoken with heart. Because your future isn't set in stone. It's built day by day by the small things you choose to do right now. And today is a very good day to begin.